So now I've started.
Cool.
Should we jump
Okay.
right into the thing?
Yeah, as you want it to be.
Okay, cool. All right, so we were, I think, doing those self-disclosure questions, and one or two were left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is one of my rehab experiences. So
Okay.
a fellow psychotic person sat next to me in the rehab on my third
Mm-hmm.
day, while I
Mm-hmm.
was smoking a cigarette and was
Mm-hmm.
symptomatic and had almost no insight. He
Mm-hmm.
whispered, "What you hear in your head are voices and they're not real." And I looked at him with disbelief and confusion and anger because I didn't really ask him anything. How did you react to receiving the information for the first time that what you hear in your head are voices? And did you readily accept it or did you fight it?
Okay. Um, if I go back, uh, I think I have been a pretty rational person in some for some years now.
Right.
So the reason why even I went to a psychiatrist was because a doctor had told me. So like a general physician told me that you need to see a doctor, and uh, I was it took me time. I think, yeah, but the first time when they said, I was not able to decipher it personally. Like, I was like, okay, what are they even saying? Like, so it took me a lot of time to accept it. I did not fight it also. Like, I did not directly fight it, ki, okay, this is not right or this can't be the correct thing. But it was a little, it was of disbelief. Like, firstly, I couldn't understand. And then it took me the second visit is when I sort of realized, okay, maybe that could be true. But by that time the medicines had started working also.
Okay.
So while I was going through medication, then I was thinking about it, but I did not believe the doctor starting me. Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on. Um,
Hmm.
Again, one of the self-disclosure ones. Till like a month ago, this was my biggest fear, which is losing my comprehension and expression capabilities. Like I felt every time I was back on antipsychotics after an episode,
Hmm.
I am losing my abilities to express myself and understand what people are saying.
Hmm.
It always came back with a vengeance after every bout of recovery from psychosis with the help of antipsychotics. Do you
Hmm.
have a fear of losing your comprehension and expression abilities?
Um, I think underlying there is a fear. I don't have a very conscious fear of it because I don't. I think I'm quite expressive both in my professional and personal life. Uh, but yeah, if I am like if there are people smoking up around me, or if I have the thought of smoking up, that is when I actually fear, ki, okay, I might lose this ability to express myself clearly or coherently. So doing it for life or for a long period of time is very scary, also because of the kind of work that I do. So that would sort of debilitate me for a long time. Yeah, so I do have that fear, underlying fear, but then I pretty much have the confidence that I can get back.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Question from that is, as of now, what is your biggest fear?
Hmm. And my biggest fear is to turn into a schizophrenic person.
Okay.
Schizophrenia is my biggest fear with respect to psychosis. Yeah.
No, but in general, like in life, what is your biggest
In
fear?
general, in
Yeah,
general, my fear is about dying. Like I don't know how it is going to come. That is the biggest mystery of all, and I am really afraid about of death. Like what will happen actually when the moment comes? That is a little fearful. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Okay.
that is my biggest fear. Yeah.
All right. Before I ask another question, you sent me a really interesting recording in the preceding week, and you said that okay, I'm not going crazy, but I'm feeling that I'm in a zone where I can
Yeah.
sort
Yeah.
of understand what I did in my psychosis. And you said I go for my instincts a lot more than a very rational, thought out decision. And
Hmm. Hmm.
for
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
gave an example of if I'm reaching in my bag for my cigarettes, I place them there.
Yeah.
Would you want to elaborate on this? Because I have a like question related to this.
So actually, I sort of parallelly remembered what I used to do in psychosis while I was the other day while I was just randomly high. So what had happened is, the context is, I had not slept the entire night. Okay,
Right.
and in the afternoon of the preceding day, like the next day afternoon, I felt like, okay, am I like, I felt high now, a mild high where maybe the mind is the head is giddy, or you are feeling a little giddy, and you just your thoughts are racing, and you are just I was thinking a lot, and I could have, it was very creative for me. I was writing a lot then.
Right.
So that was a high state for me, clearly. And I remember, so cigarettes, usually if I keep it in I have a distinct place for keeping a cigarette or whatever. So what my mind did is, when I was going to keep the cigarettes there, it said, no, it's not there, you should keep it here. That was instinct, and that was not the usual thing to do, rational thinking, हाँ, इसको यहाँ रखना है. So I realized parallelly कि when in psychosis, I used to do something very instinctively and not very rationally कि हाँ, इसको ऐसा करना है क्या. So that was something parallel with psychosis. Like you answer to your instincts more. Like your instincts become your action orientation or action points. Yeah.
Okay, so now an interesting question related to this is, so in my psychosis, I would take a lot of decisions, like for example, keeping matchsticks in my shaving kit and hiding them for like reserve when I need them or something like that, and would not understand why am I doing this. I just do it based on instinct, and then there would be times when I reap benefits of those decisions later in a non-psychotic state, or just like like in my sober state, I would do things which the psychotic person could take advantage of, and vice versa. So I felt like it's all, I mean, I'm talking about destiny here, like it's all pre-decided, and I am preemptively doing a lot of things that I don't know, but I'm prepared for them somehow, like because I'm tapping into something bigger than myself. In my psychotic state, I am making decisions that are going to help me later somehow. Like it all falls into place somehow. Do you also? If you feel the same way, can you just elaborate on the idea a little bit?
Yeah, I've always felt actually the conflict between destiny and free will.
Right.
So many a times I feel it is all also predestined in a way, like the kind of people I met on the way. Or for example, the other night I was at my friend's place, and we were thinking whether I should stay back or I should go home. So I think then I sort of decided that I should just like go to my own house. So at 2:30 in the morning, I started walking, and I took an auto. Now what happened is, I started speaking to that auto wala guy, and then we spoke for like 15 minutes. And I thought that possibly this was predestined. Like I couldn't have, if I wouldn't have decided to go home, I wouldn't have met this very interesting person. And so that was destined for him. It was destined to be there at that time, at that hour in the night, waiting for a person, and I happened to be there. And I think it was predestined. In fact, I feel this could be a predestined thing of us also talking about it, or us meeting in TIS. Like, who knows? So I believe more in predestination, or something that is determined already in a way, and we are sort of cogs for that happening, or that event could be.
And
I am
and does like psychosis have anything for you to sort of have a stronger belief in this idea?
uh
Or did you already believe in destiny and all of that? Like,
no, I think it was pre-psychosis also that I had all these questions about destiny and free will. Like, I am a tarot card reader, so I always had those thoughts of, okay, is this destined, or why am I changing anything from free will, or whatever I do, will I be, or was I destined for this? So I've had those thoughts pre-psychosis also. Yeah.
okay. All right, moving on. Uh, so I'm going to relate my experience. When my parents came to meet me at the rehab, every 15 days or so, they would drive down from Ambala to Delhi, which is 200 kilometers, and meet me for 15 minutes where they could not understand what I was saying. And my
Hmm.
mom would not say anything, just look at me with eyes filled with tears. I did not feel anything for them then. I thought my father
Hmm.
was stupid because he couldn't understand what I was saying. On the other
Hmm.
hand, when my brother visited, I cried buckets. He asked me to introspect.
Hmm.
The question from this is, did you feel an emotional detachment from your parents in your psychotic state?
Um, I, personally, if I say, yeah, I was sort of, I was also detached from other people as well, if I think about it right now, some
Mm-hmm.
people. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, with my father, uh, yeah, I was emotionally detached from him. Like many a times, I did not want him to be up close with me. I wanted my own space in my own bedroom. So I told, in fact, I shouted him out of my room also. He wanted to be there and, comfort or just be around. And I said, I don't need you, sort of thing. So yeah, I was emotionally attached with my father. But it took me time.
Are
Yeah.
you a single child or do you have siblings?
No, I'm a single child.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you also feel emotionally detached from your friends?
Most of them, yeah. Like I felt like I either I was actually really tripping on some other world where I couldn't even attach them into them like that. Like they were parts, but I was living that reality for myself.
Like they did
But
not hold a place in that reality.
yeah, yeah, most of them didn't.
Okay.
But on an everyday basis, they were around. Like for example, I there was a functional level of trust. Like for example, when one of my friends came to pick me up from Indore to Bombay, I did trust him. Then that's how I came back. Like I was not trusting anyone else to walk around or to come close to me. But I there was a functioning level of trust. But I'm sure he did not there was some presence. So my friends were present, but they didn't understand, and I didn't understand them. ऐसा था. But I knew they are present. उतना sense था कि okay, someone is present, and I know him. ये present है मेरे साथ. ऐसा.
Okay.
So the registration was of them was only as someone who is present and someone who I know. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of hallucinations did you experience? Auditory, visual, or olfactory? Did they also happen together, or did it happen separately?
Auditory most of the times, like all जितनी बार भी हुआ है, most of the times it has been only auditory, but visual just once. And I visual when I was experiencing the visual hallucination, I did not experience the auditory one then.
Have you talked about this visual hallucination before?
Once, I think the first time, 5, 10 minutes maybe. I can speak about it if you want.
I sure want to discuss it. Yeah.
Yeah, so one random day I was on my bed, and my bed sort of faces the window, and on the other side there's a almirah, and uske baju mein there's like a showcase.
Hmm.
So that showcase had a small Buddha like figure in gold, like gold colored, something like that. A Buddha sitting Buddha,
Hmm.
laughing Buddha.
Hmm.
So I suddenly feel that the Buddha comes out of the showcase and starts whirling around, like it goes in circles, and I
Okay.
couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" Because ये हवा में कैसे गोल गोल घूम रहा है? And that happened for like must have happened for between 5 to 10 or 15 seconds.
Okay.
Like utna time to hua hoga. And I
Hmm.
was looking at it, I was like, fuck, it just came out in the air and started whirling around, and then suddenly after 10 seconds or 15 seconds it went back to the same place. And I couldn't believe my eyes. So that happened. Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know why. I don't know the context, what I was thinking, but it happened. उसके
Right.
बाद I did not have any visual hallucination, but most of mine have been auditory. Olfactory क्या होता है?
Olfactory is smell. So you smell
Smell.
something which is not there.
No, that didn't happen.
Also
Yeah.
touch maybe. Did you feel something pressing against your skin when it was not
Uh,
actually there?
Not really. No.
Okay.
One also visual hallucination. If I don't know if it is visual hallucination or not, but maybe it could be. The first time when it happened, my psychosis while it was going on, while I was in it, I was like really shouting, or I was doing things like didn't want people around. So what my friend did is they came and they hugged me, and they were trying to like put me to sleep. So they were trying to hug me and then trying to slowly put me to sleep.
Okay.
And I was looking at the door and my bedroom ka door, and wahan pe I sort of saw that a body is hanging on from the door. So I felt very scared. I was like, fuck, who is like, jaise people hang by suicide, jaise
Okay.
with
Okay.
the rope and all of that. So I
Hmm.
saw that a body, almost like a body, was hanging with a rope. And I closed my eyes and I felt very scared. And the friend tried to put me to sleep. So that was there for like 5 seconds, I think. So this is the second, could be a visual hallucination then. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Another self-disclosure thing. I was initially fat in school, thin in undergrad, and fat again now. And now,
Hmm.
oh, sorry, fat again, and now I'm ridiculously fat. But even when I was thin, I felt like a fat person trapped in a thin body. How
Hmm.
did your body image affect your physical and mental well-being?
Hmm. My body image. Okay.
I mean, did you go through different body types from school to college? Like, were you fat before, thin, or athletic, and now like lazy?
Yeah, I was a little fat in school, like I think till eighth grade, seventh or eighth grade. Then after eighth, suddenly I became thin. So that was one. But my image issue was not just because of the type of my body, but my skin color and also the kind of face I have. Maybe at 16, someone randomly told me, like a guy told me that you're not hot looking or not good looking at all, and I would want to like go around with you. So that had some effect for some time on my mental, not mental health per se, but yeah, about like, oh fuck,
Self-image,
like,
maybe.
yeah, self-image. Like I realized, oh shit, like I'm not the conventionally good-looking person around and all of that.
Did you ask
So
him
that
whether does he find you good looking, or he just randomly told you this?
he just randomly told me. He just randomly told.
What is he going around telling people what he thinks about their face?
I don't know. He was also 17 that time. वो भी 17 का ही था. I think 18, 17 का ही होगा. I was also 16, 17 only.
Okay.
And those days were like 10, 11 years ago. Very like the internet was very new, and we were like teenagers. Like आज जैसा नहीं है. So it was a really big new thing for us to meet random people online.
Okay.
So that happened. And
Okay.
I had gone to meet him, yeah. So I had self-image issues because of that incident, yeah.
Hmm. All right.
Hmm.
Okay, another thing I would note down. So, you've seen television in your life before, right? It's a very ridiculous question, but you've seen a TV
Yeah,
before.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I have.
So on cable television, what happens is generally sometimes
uh,
you see a code in a white sort of rectangular thing where there's numbers and there's alphabets. It
hmm.
flashes for a little bit and then it goes.
Okay.
So I would note down those alphanumeric codes
Hmm.
that you see on cable television sometimes are secret codes to decipher. I also
Okay.
thought the radio and TV and even songs are personalized messages for me. Uh,
Okay.
According to you, okay, did you have similar experiences where you thought electronic devices were talking to you? Or
Um,
songs?
nahin, I didn't feel कि electronic devices were talking to me. But I was using electronic device. I was using the computer, the laptop for cryptic messages or some kind of secret passageways. Like w- like I remember in the computer room, like lab इसका library में, I thought कि that one particular computer in a particular section, जैसे as you go inside, no, the first section that comes on your left where there are 10 laptop, 10 PCs. तो
Right.
वहां पे I thought there was one particular PC जहाँ पे I thought कि okay, this is the computer जहाँ पे director gives a message and ये मेरे को email आता है यहाँ से,
Okay. Okay.
like और कहीं नहीं आएगा. So I only used to sit there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Uh, all right. Have we talked about being delusional, coming out of it, and then believing in the same delusion again? Have we talked about this?
No, no.
Okay, so this is an interesting question. Okay,
Okay.
so after debunking, and have you had multiple psychotic episodes or just
Yeah, I
one?
have had. No,
Okay,
no, I've had multiple ones.
okay.
Yeah.
So imagine coming out of your first psychosis. Okay, After debunking all your delusions, do you think of them as silly or do you still believe in them?
No, I think of them as some of them as silly.
Right.
Like the first one was that I was believing that I am some random prince who has been welcomed into the Prince's Club or the Royal Club of India. So
Right.
I think that is silly. That is very silly.
Okay.
But the other psychotic trip was that I'm a judge. Now that has many implications. Like that is a possibility for me.
Right.
Like I'm a lawyer, I can give a judge ka exam and I can become a judge, or I can be an advocate and then I can work and then I'll be called to the collegium and then I can become a judge. So it is a possibility for me.
Right.
Or even thinking of myself as an assistant director, yeah, that is a possibility. If I keep working in academia, I can very well become an assistant director someday. So the other two were, yeah, but others, the silly thing is that wo royal wala tha ki it is as it's like something that you not idealize but want or desire, but of course something which can't be fulfilled.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. In my case, in so the first time I was in psychosis, I thought I've been specially chosen. I was an atheist, and I thought all these people who believe in God waste their time in praying and asking for things, and I did not. I've always been hardworking and sincere. So therefore, I've been rewarded by God saying, "Hey, I am not going to reward these people. I reward you. You are special." And
Okay.
so the delusion was really basic, which is that I'm a special person. I'm privy to information other people don't know, and everyone respects me for my divine knowledge. Okay. I came out of that psychosis and I debunked my delusion. I was like, okay, that was stupid. That's not the truth. And I mean, it was all bogus and we had fun while we were at it and all of that. The second time I went into psychosis, it was not it was the same delusion again. Okay. It was not like I had a very elaborate lie that I was believing in earlier and now I'm believing it again. No. It was just the same sort of one line or two lines that I believed in before, debunked it, and started believing in it again. So my question to you is, I mean, if you still in the second or subsequent episodes, if you still started believing in something you were believing in earlier, is that why do you think psychotic individuals start believing in the same delusions after debunking them again and again?
Because I think it is totally possible to keep going back to that trip. Like I don't think it's gone. Matlab, it's somewhere there. It's still there in your consciousness or whatever you call it, whatever part of your mind you call it. So even if now I feel ki, oh, it's silly, but I'm sure like tomorrow if I actually meet a real 21st century prince or someone, all these new age people who have lineage, that royal lineage. So I'm sure if I'm psychotic and if I'm meeting someone in real, I think I'll end up going into the same trip. It is possible. I don't think it's gone forever. I don't think it has died forever. So those trips don't die. I think they are still they can reside in your consciousness or awareness somewhere, and it's just that you are not. It'll take a lot of willpower to not go back, but it is completely possible, according to me, that you may be able to go back and live that again. Believe in that because the bud is the same, like the starting point of that is the same. Maybe it's a core belief in a way, and that's how it began. So till the time you don't debunk that core belief, you're not going to completely wash it off.
But see, the why I think this is an interesting question is we consider ourselves really rational and people who come to a conclusion after a lot of deductions, like even in real life, that water is going to take the shape of the container, and I know this for a fact now. And the next day you don't go back to saying, oh no, water will only be cylindrical. Yeah, yesterday I was actually, I don't think that's true. So you settle for something and you don't believe in contrary beliefs, right? But in psychotic, in our case specifically, When we come out of psychosis, we're like, bro, that was stupid. I'm 100% sure this is not real. And I mean, I was crazy. It was fun, but I was crazy. And this is the truth. Okay. So, I mean, let's all come to the conclusion that this is what reality is. But then when you go back into the psychosis again, you start believing in it again, right? So my question is, how can a person have two equally strong beliefs and, like, you know, based on how they are, like if they're psychotic, if they're not, they you know, take that belief instead? I mean, that is something we don't do for any other thing in our normal lives. Like you, if you like a bread omelette as your breakfast, you have come to that after trying a lot of things, and you know this for sure about yourself. But in here, we are always, you know, we are saying, okay, now when I was sober and when I debunked all that belief, that was stupid, this is real. When we are out of it, we're like, no, I debunked it, this is real and that was fake. So why do you think that is? Why do we start? I mean, we still have those points and rationales with us, right? Even if you're psychotic, though you debunked it using certain arguments, and those arguments are still there. So, I mean, how do we do that is my question. Like, how do we convince ourselves?
I feel that see, rationality for me is another. It's one paradigm. I don't think rationality for me is everything. Like I am open to the idea that okay, there can be something else which my mind or which our human experience may not be able to know right now, or which we have not been able to experience. But there might be something else apart from what we are experiencing or what is going around for us. So rationality is performed in a paradigm for me. So I feel that there is, if we go back to the same kind of trip, if you're having, I think that there is a clue of how instinct works in a way. Matlab, it's not about only rationality there. According to me, it's something that we are. That means that maybe even when I was sober and when I debunked all of my psychosis and said, "Ki no, rationally, ki nahi, this is stupid and this is not true, and what I'm believing now is right," that is also like some half truth.
Okay.
Yeah, that's also some half truth. It is not the total absolute truth for me.
Okay.
Like, for example, in my psychosis, I almost believed that I was Deepika Padukone sitting in the auto, and I was wearing a shawl and all, and I started, like, you know, sitting like her or whatever I thought, imagined ki हाँ वो ऐसे बैठेगी या वैसे, and I was literally believing that I was Deepika Padukone. But when I came out of it, I was like, okay, no, I'm not that, and I'm this. But then I'm sure ki there is something that there is probably there are traits in me which identify from traits in her, or something that makes me, so there is some similarity, and therefore we try to go back. And while we are rational, when we are sober and rational, we are not able to take into account all the traits of that psychotic period.
Right.
So even if like royalty wala bhi, if I have that, so I think right now, so I can say, yeah, ki this is not my reality. Yeah, of course, I'm from a whatever middle class family in Bombay, other social location without any royal lineage. ठीक है, that is real. But that is half truth for my personality could be, because probably I have some similar.
Hello.
I think like that.
Yeah.
And therefore I have to go back to that. Yeah.
Okay,
I'll really perform it well. Yeah.
So what I'm getting from you is there are basically, if I had to really simplify it, you're saying there are rules for the psychotic world and there are rules for this world. And rationality plays a huge role in the, like, normal real world, whereas in the psychotic world, rationality doesn't really have a lot of sway to say. Like, it doesn't. It's not. And even the conclusions that you came up with after psychosis, they are not, you're not absolutely certain about them. You're just like, this works while I'm functional, and I'm going to use them as tools to help me function and not go back to that. And you're not absolutely certain about things that came. I mean, are there things that you're absolutely certain about, like, that, you know, is not going to change? Or, I mean, this is a very stupid question. It's actually stupid, not because it's a stupid question, but stupid because it's a very, you can't say what you're absolutely certain about.
Yeah.
So maybe I should not. Yeah, I can't ask you that. I can't ask that myself. Okay. Okay, I get your point. Yeah. So I mean, it's about, which world you're inhabiting and which paradigm you're in, and the
Right.
things that take like more power, more precedence,
More power.
those
Right.
work. Okay.
Right.
That is a
Right.
good. Actually, this is the only explanation that I can sort of reconcile with till now, because this has been a very and this has been a difficult question for a lot of people.
Yeah. True.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice that we got through this. Okay,
Glad.
so moving on to the next question.
Hmm.
Would you call the nature of your delusions spiritual? And
Hmm.
were you always a spiritual person before the delusions as well?
Okay. Yeah, like I was a spiritual. So I went from religious to spiritual
Hmm.
personally.
Okay.
As a child I was very religious. Like till eighth grade I was very religious. I used to pray. I had specific deities. I used to write my own prayers. Then after eighth and ninth I started becoming more spiritual, wherein I couldn't follow a particular god just because there was dogma, but I wanted to do something. So I did tarot reading as a hobby and all of that. So I was spiritual and I've been always interested in that. But psychosis, I think it was spiritual in the sense it was more creative for my growth. Like I think even when you're spiritual, you get some kind of energy to enhance your potential in any way possible. So either you could be a thinking person, so you could think well, or you could write well, or sing well, or play your guitar well, or run well, or whatever, or do cook well, something like that, or you basically with more focus and attention. Like doing well means having a better attention span and getting into it passionately without thinking about the time. So yeah, while I was psychosis for a bit, of course I was literally working on an idea, and I was able to do a lot of it while during psychosis. So yeah, it was partly spiritual for me.
Okay. All right, moving on to the next question.
Hmm.
Um, do you feel there are no avenues to discover your real self in the real world for normal people?
Mm.
Wow, I don't know why this question is there, but it's probably from a memoir that I read, and she said that. So yeah, I mean, take
Yeah,
another.
I think that's true, because if I see the real, this whatever real world, whatever so-called reality you're living in, I think everybody is in a sort of replication mode or repetition. So everybody is replicating everything, any act. So I don't think we are able to perform ourselves truly just because it's if it's Instagram, we're just posting the same kind of pictures, asking the same kind of questions, doing the same kind of traveling, doing the same form of say cooking and eating, and the form of living. I mean the same kind of houses. Everything is very habitual and replicative. So I don't.
Unoriginal.
Yeah, unoriginal. Like, or there are no spaces to be original also. Like, what kind of, like, how will you be original if there are no external conditions for your originality to exist? Like, something like that. Like, there are no spaces to be original. Like, even if you are, say for example, if I am say a writer and I'm writing a poem, it still gets copy pasted and fit into a genre, or into a specific subgroup, or a box. Okay, you are this or you're that. So the constant labeling is always there. So you're either doing something what everybody else has already done, something like that.
Right.
And to be really out of the box, you need to really come out of, I think, these boxes and actually do something else. But then again, the point is how many people will like, why would you be doing that? Like, how many people would be then reading what you write or whatever? So the
Right.
market doesn't work like that. People don't work like that. We are just like following each other in a way.
Yeah, but oh wow, I mean, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, because we have done that original sort of thought seeking ourselves, I think it's way more
Hmm.
rewarding if you do that, if you don't consider
Hmm.
it as a risk. But yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
I completely get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, what has helped you majorly in your recovery? What would
Hmm.
that thing be if you feel like you've recovered? What is that
Hmm.
major thing that has helped you recover and still maintains your recovery?
My friends, more than medication. I believe that yeah, medications have had one or healing or whatever. Like medicine is there, doctors are there, but then my recovery is also because of my constant group of friends around. Two or three close ones, and then there are others who were around. But yeah, I feel and my constant recovery or my being in this recovery mode or this mode is because I have people to talk to, like people who genuinely would like be there if I need them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, have these experiences changed you in any way? Has it been a transformative experience for you?
Um. Certainly, I've become a little more mature. I feel, or a little more like I don't have the rose tinted glasses anymore for many things. I feel that people can be different and there can be any. I mean, I have accepted that anything can happen now in this world. Nothing is, nothing is normal firstly, and anything and everything can take place. Like nothing is impossible to happen. कुछ भी हो सकता है. Like if a person says that they are feeling something, possibly that is true. That is actually how they are feeling, and probably you've never felt that way, but you just have to be around then for that person.
Right. Okay, man.
So
That yeah,
yeah.
that brings us yeah.
Hmm.
Please continue.
Yeah, so I mean, now I'm much more aware of people's emotions around me and their mental states around me, and I'm much more aware about their boundaries. Yeah,
Right. Okay, like I was
yeah.
saying, Ajay, that brings us to the end of the exhaustive interview. And
Okay,
I
cool.
feel like I have covered most bases, but if there is anything related to the psychotic experience that
Hmm.
you feel I've missed out or you just want to share,
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
you can do that now. Like any insight, anything.
Okay. Let me give me or a minute. I feel I do have now. If I can reflect, uh, I think I have the tendency to say go back to smoking up. Like I'm scared about that. That is one thing. Because since I have not been psychotic since a long time now, it's been like more than, or I have not smoked up in a long time. Maybe I'm taking it too lightly. Like I think I need to self-reflect on that. That is one. Like very recently, like maybe just last week, maybe I was there at my friend's house and people were smoking up, and I did have for a minute I was like, okay, like abhi to main theek hu. That question came up in my mind ki okay, now I'm fine. But this is for me. So this is one thing. Otherwise, I think yeah, it's been a good. I mean, I don't know, good and bad both experience. I mean, I would have not been the person I am without the psychosis. I feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, man. We're done.
Yeah.
We're done. We finished the whole thing.
Oh,
You're,
that's so cool. Yeah, I'm
you're,
so happy.
you're my first completed interview.
Wow.